Millions of people descend from Stonehenge, asking the age-old questions about who built it, how was it built, and why. The answers are lost in the mists of time. After doing an extraordinary a lot of research, I've learned that the Stonehenge is a unique prehistoric monument that is in the center of an extraordinary archaeological landscape. It is so rich and varied that in 1987 it was chosen as a World Heritage Site. It is so rich in source of information for prehistory, and also holds a crucial place in the development of archaeology. Many different theories have been put forward about who built it, and how, and when, and for what purpose. Today, I want to inform you about the Stonehenge itself, its history, the scientific theories behind it, and also the conspiracies and myths. First, I will tell you about the monument's structure and history. Then, second, I will examine the major scientific theories about it. Next, I will share with you the myths and conspiracies that this monument has inspired. Let's begin by introducing what is this monument. Stonehenge is one of the famous sites in the world that consists of 83 stones, standing in a ring formation. Now, this is the only structure that is surviving in a lintel-shaped form. Now, where is this located and when was it made? This engineering wonder is located in Wiltshire, England, near the town called Amesbury. In a book by Dr. Adams called The History of Western Art, published in 2011, she mentions that the Stonehenge was built at least 300 years before the Egyptians built their pyramids. Now that's 3,100 BC ago. That's the Neolithic era. If you put your, if you calculate that, that's around 5,000 years ago. So this monument is 5,000 years old. Let me tell you about the structure. As I mentioned earlier, there are 83 stones. And there are two different types of stones that make this whole monument. The larger stones are called the sarsen stones. And they are up to 9 meters tall, and they weigh about 25 tons each. Now, 25 tons is a lot. So if you calculate that, that's approximately 300 human beings. The smaller stones are called the blue stones. They're called the blue stones because when it rains, they get the shade of blue on them. These weigh up to 4 tons, and that's the weight of 3 cars at least. Now that's the smallest stone. Now, what makes this material of this structure so significant is that these blue stones are a type of volcanic rock, and it is only found in certain places. Now, the issue here is a research that is done by a Bournemouth University archaeologist, Professor Wayne Wright, states that the closest place that you can find these stones is 420 kilometers away from the plane itself. Now, that is the route from Dubai to Muscat, Oman. So how was it possible that they could drag these stones all the way there? Now, who transported these stones to the Stonehenge? Now, in Professor Wainwright's research, he explains that the people who constructed this site, they left only few records and only few writing records about this, and not a lot of clues. Those who built it also, the Stonehenge, they were really sophisticated in math and geometry. Why? Because the formation of the stone is precisely matched to the direction of the midsummer sunrise and the midwinter sunset. Also the direction of the moon. Now that you recognize the immensity of the Stonehenge and its history and its construction, it has also inspired a fair number of reasonable scientific theories. Now we should examine the major ones for you. Explain the major ones for you. According to a new study by British research by Mike Parker in 2013, states the Stonehenge originally have been a cemetery for the elite. Now, the elite are the superior ones in a society. A place for burial. And then BBC4 showed a documentary in March 10th, and it reveals that the British researchers have dug out 50,000 skeletons and fragments of people who were buried near the site. Men and women, equal proportions, and also they found some children as well. According to an article by the Guardian newspaper published in 2014, this is a recent excavation. The archaeologists also found a mace head and a bowl that had ashes, not ashes, but fragments of ashes of burnt incense. Now this suggests that the people buried in the graves may have been religious and in a political stance. Another theory is that the Stonehenge was a place for healing. In 2018, doctors Wainwright again and Darville reported that the large number of skeletons dug around the site showed a sign of injury and illness. Now, they have hypothesized that the people saw Stonehenge as a place of healing. The archaeology also noticed that these blue stones, the smaller stones that are in the Stonehenge, that they have been the fragments that have been chipped out from it, and perhaps this could be used as jewels and charms for protective and healing purposes. Another theory, scientific theory that makes sense, is that about the transportation of these stones is a research done in 1971 by Dr. Kellaway. She theorized that they might have been sailed along a river on wooden boats, or been moved by using basic sleds with tree trunks. Another possibility raised by Kellaway is that during the Ice Age, glaciers may have moved these stones as well. So if that's the case, the people didn't have to move these stones as much, like 420 kilometers away from it. Now that we have gone through a fair number of scientific theories about the Stonehenge, allow me to tell you about the more interesting stuff, the legends and the myths that it has inspired. The first thing that I find the most interesting is an article written, website that I found, an author called McKay, an article published in 2010. She discloses the famous legends about Stonehenge, and one of them was the dancing giants. Now, it was believed that the giants once existed before humans evolved, and one day the giants were dancing around and circling around the plain, and suddenly they were frozen and turned into stones. Now, this explains why the stones are formed in a circle. Many people believe that this legend is in the past because the shape of the Stonehenge somewhat resembles of the giants holding hands in a circle. Another theory is the face. And this is, McKay also talks about this. The face in one of the stones, as you can see in the slide, is that it can only be seen during some periods of the day in summer. Some believe that this was the architect of the Stonehenge. And he had possessed one of the stones to ensure that the stones would come to no harm, and was the guardian of the whole site. The next one, of course, is about aliens. A Danish author called Erik von Daniken suggests that aliens had a role of the creation of the Stonehenge. This is a very large circle, as you guys can see. That the construction again is constructed by, that they say that it had been constructed by aliens on Earth long ago. Given the huge sizes of the stones, many doubt that people that were living 5,000 years ago did not have the technology and the intelligence to move these stones. So the only the leading theory is that it was built by aliens. Another theory, the last theory that I'm going to leave you with, is the gate theory. The Stonehenges are also known as stone gallows. And now stone gallows are stones that marks the end of someone's life. It is believed that the stones are Stonehenges are gateways to where humans originally came from. Some believe that the humans also will return to that place as well. The legend goes on to suggest that every 5,000 years, someone attempts to open one of these gates, and a whole calamity a catastrophic event will occur. In conclusion, from dancing giants to aliens, from burial sites to religious sites as well, stories and theories are still unknown to what Stonehenge was actually used for. In conclusion, over the last 10 years, our understanding has moved on dramatically. An era of mystery will always surround the Stonehenge. Each new piece of evidence that is found raises up new questions. Now, will this site ever reveal its mysteries? Maybe, maybe not. But that won't stop us from imagining and wondering and searching for answers. Thank you.
was a very interesting speech.
That was a good speech.
So which one do you believe?
Me?
Yeah.
None of them. To be honest, I mean, looking at the scientific theories, the only thing that I can, I mean, the distance between what made me question is the blue stones.
Yeah.
Now the other stones, the sarsens, they were there already, but the blue stones, which are 420 kilometers away, is that like 5,000 years ago, what technology was there? And the thing is that not only that make this society, this group of people, they had to be very unified to move these stones. So I'm guessing somehow they figured out that with the whole what do you call it? The sleds and stuff with the tree trunks, they managed to move them. I mean, that's the best explanation that I think I can give for that. And I believe in that. Go ahead.
It was really interesting, and I liked how you gave examples with the numbers and the distances. I have a question. How come these stones never fell?
Never fell? Well, I mean, if you go to the site itself, a lot of them have fallen. Like, few of them. It's not complete. But obviously, because they're very heavy, I mean, most of them, I mean, it's the only linteled surviving stone. So most of them have fallen, so it's not complete.
Do you know what makes the blue stones blue? Like, is it a chemical reaction?
Yeah, it makes it blue because whenever it gets humid or when it rains, it gets this shade of blue on it. So that's why they call it blue stones.
Is it because of the algae or something?
Probably, most probably. And the only, another reason is because it's a volcanic rock. It's made with different elements, you know, than normal rocks.
All right, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.